Titans and Trailblazers is brought to you by the MNC Group.
Welcome to another fascinating episode of Titans and Trailblazers. Titans and Trailblazers is your go-to program for learning about contemporary tools for thriving in business, contemporary tools for gaining better social relevance, and contemporary tools for building a better Africa by and large. Today we are going to have a particularly fascinating guest. But I'll tell you more about this guest when we come back from the break. Stay tuned.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
MNC Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302-551-917 or 0302-551-918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers. And today for our book review, I have a book which is dear to my heart because of the very important nature of the subject the book covers. Tourism. We edited a book entitled New Frontiers in Hospitality and Tourism Management in Africa with some of the best tourism scholars who write on Africa. Professor Michael Nguasong, and then Professor Albert Kimbu, both of them based in the UK, and my friend Professor Gechi Adeola, who now works at the University of Kigali in Rwanda, and I was the last editor. Why did we think we needed a book that looked at management issues in hospitality and tourism? Well, because tourism is one of the biggest game changers for Africa. Has always been, now is, and forever will be. We have in Ghana, for instance, a new government that's in reset mode. One of the biggest pillars of their manifesto is the introduction of something called the Black Star Experience. Now, the Black Star Experience is conceptualized to be some sort of concept that showcases what is best about Ghana and puts together a comprehensive set of year-long activities to get people to enjoy Ghana from a hospitality and tourism perspective and to generate buzz about the brand Ghana. So The spirit of the Black Star experience is that internally we should consume hospitality and tourism products, and then externally we should have such a comprehensive portfolio of hospitality and tourism products that people will come from across the world and come and benefit from the brilliant experience that Ghana has in terms of hospitality and tourism. So why this book? We set out to answer 5 key questions. We're trying to interrogate what the management practices are when it comes to hospitality and tourism firms in Africa, and how effectively are these practices being implemented. Number 2, we try to understand what examples exist when it comes to H&T firms engaging in management innovation. That is, where is the innovation and the novelty in the practice of management in relation to hospitality and tourism firms in Africa? Number 3, we try to understand what drives the uptake of Western versus African management practices when it comes to H&T in Africa. And we're trying to understand again how these management practices differ between formal and informal companies and across the different hospitality and tourism industry that can be found in Africa. Number 4, we're trying to understand how the use of management practices by H&T firms contribute to the competitiveness of African countries as tourism destinations. Because look, we need to be clear in our minds. As we try to configure value propositions around H&T in Africa, the Maldives is doing the same. Brazil is doing this. I was watching an episode of a CNN show yesterday where they were saying that this coming summer, Vancouver and Montreal are very hot tourism destinations for American tourists who want to go abroad. So now they will not do long-haul travel to Africa. They'll just hop over to Canada. They'll go to Vancouver. They'll go to Montreal. They were saying that airlines were charging as low as $600 to go from maybe an Accra to New York or around those sorts of places. So the competitiveness of African H&T destinations matter. Number 5, we're trying to look at what policies and strategies can enable the development of H&T organizations in Africa. That was also very, very important for us. So what's in the book? The book has 16 chapters. And we don't only draw from across the several different sub-regions of Africa, but we include country-specific examples of novel H&T practices. And then we also have cross-country comparative studies that provide a critical re-examination of the applicability of Western management theories to the African context. So if you take the first chapter, for instance, Nguasong writes together with a couple of others, and they provide an in-depth snapshot of contemporary management practices within the H&T landscape in Africa. When you go on to Chapter 2, you have a discussion by Ajealemi and Olarewaju, and they focus on issues attendant to Nigeria. And they are trying to understand how we can configure solutions for attractive prospective tourists with a view to increasing the patronage, the loyalty of H&T value offerings in Nigeria. Then Adeniyi and Folarin also have discussions around what African governments can do to create conducive environments for the thriving of H&T business entities. And then they also give us some sort of snapshot of what the government can do in terms of committing to H&T reform within the Nigerian sector. In Chapter 4, Zoo analyzed the prospects of Southern Africa in respect of MICE. MICE stands for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. And by the way, last week I was at the program with the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, and we're launching the upcoming Africa Marketing Confederation TICON conference happening in August 2025. And he said, well, one of the things they're trying to do at the Ghana Tourism Authority is that they're trying to make Ghana a favorable MICE destination so that people will come here to organize different types of events. And I'm sure that in the spirit of that, we would be working on building a certain infrastructural net to support the development of mines from Africa. I remember again when I was in Rwanda as Deputy Vice Chancellor at the University of Kigali, we had a lot of things like the convention center, big, where Radisson Blu was right behind my building. And anytime I walked around there, I sort of understood why Rwanda was a big destination for meetings, conferences, and exhibitions. So from the MICE discussions in chapter 4, we now go on to other issues that have to do with supply chain matters, because supply chain matters for the development of the tourism sector as well. So some of the scholars in the book look at issues attendant to the supply chains in sub-Saharan Africa, how IT can be integrated into the processes of purchasing, selling, transferring, and exchanging goods, the potential of the internet for improving supply chain practices, and so on and so forth. Other contributors look at issues attendant to destination branding, and this one is very close to my heart because you see, if you take the 52, 53, 54 countries in Africa, I'm not sure even 15 have clearly delineated nation branding agencies. We have some people who are doing some investment stuff, some are doing some tourism stuff, some are doing SME promotion, but something like Brand South Africa, which has a clear mandate to promote the... I remember I did a Good Evening Ghana with Paula Dumotri about 23 years ago with the late Komla Dumo and a lady called Brenda Somerville. And at that time, we were discussing how to brand Ghana. And I said way back then that Thabo Mbeki was very visionary in setting up that Brand South Africa Council because he brought in people from finance, from investment, from trade. And I remember Unilever at the time was a major financier of that Brand South Africa thing. So please, this destination branding thing is a life and death matter for me. If you are listening across this continent, try to imagine a country that has a clear nation branding agenda, has a clear nation branding agency, because in articulating a proper nation brand, then tourism can kick in, investment can kick in, finance can kick in. Listen, if a country is not clearly defined, I promise you, no matter how well you are doing, there's more you can do, because destination brand management is a big thing. And nation branding is critical to the development and the growth of tourism in Africa, and that's a non-negotiable matter. Then we come to the issue of the sharing economy. It's a big thing now. Airbnb, Uber, sharing is big. Now, the sharing economy, according to those who worked on chapter 9 of the book, has to do with platforms that provide opportunities and challenges at the same time. Now, in terms of economic opportunities, nowadays, anybody can use any spare room they have, any spare accommodation, and come up with an Airbnb product. Nowadays, companies like Uber are big in Africa. In fact, in Ghana now, they have clearly branded vehicles, and they're trying to elevate this whole ride-hailing ecosystem. So, issues attendant to the sharing economy are also well covered in the book. Then we have those who also come and look at issues attendant to the failure of African destinations in integrating sports tourism into the overall developmental destination management and marketing posture of African countries. So the authors of this chapter use Cameroon as a case study, and they said that sports can be used to develop tourism in different localities and regions of Cameroon if it's operated under a certain strategic blueprint. Because the authors argue that while there seems to be an abundance of opportunities for leveraging sports in order to boost domestic tourism, there are bottlenecks inhibiting the opportunity that sports present. Some of the obstacles they identified include lack of relevant investment in infrastructure, lack of an enabling environment, lack of aligned and coordinated effort between tourism and sports officials, resulting in the lack of a comprehensive and integrated development strategy to develop and manage the country's domestic tourism, and thereby increasing its contributions to local, social, and economic development in the country. Interestingly, in this same studio I'm in right now. A week or two ago, there was somebody who sat not at this particular location, but very close to where I'm sitting right now. And they were discussing this Black Star Experience matter. This person works in the office of the president and said that, look, the reason why there's a desk in the office of the president is that the Black Star Experience desk is supposed to do what these authors were talking about here, reconcile all the disparate functions into one coordinated whole. So whether it's sports, whether it's transport, whether it's festivals, whether it's special events, they are supposed to sort of work in that Black Star framework to put everything together to give us an integrated tourism outlook. Listen, health can be part of tourism. Football can be tourism. Basketball can be tourism. And so what Africa needs are better integrated models for taking this hospitality and tourism discussion forward. By the way, I'll be introducing an op-ed next week where I dwell on the issue of customer experience as a boost to tourism efficacy in Africa, because I found by experience that sometimes we focus on only the hard side discussions regarding tourism development. And we forget that for any good brand, the emotional selling proposition is a better and a more cogent discussion than even the functional selling proposition. So you find that we are big on tables and chairs and stadia, but the critical customer experience thing still leaves a little to be desired in Africa. So just as a way of closing, we need to also have better ideas around how we can use the experience to boost brand Africa and then boost the various African country brand destinations. Thank you for listening. Look, after I come back to you, we're going to have a very explosive interview with somebody I cherish, somebody who understands his market issues very, very well. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more of Titans and Trailblazers.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. With MNC Properties, property sales, rentals, and management is a walk in the park. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 to 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We offer flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs, plus litigation-free lands in vibrant and upscale communities that presents the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 0302 551 917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers. And today I have a very, very good friend of mine, a man I deeply admire and respect. But before I introduce him, I need to make an important announcement. So I'm getting these calls from friends, family, and they are saying things like, oh, Bob, I hear you are back at UGBS. I hear you've left GCTU. Please, since everybody will hear this, I was Pro Vice Chancellor of the Ghana Communication Technology University for 3 years. So at the end of April 2025, my term ended. And when my term ended, I opted to go back to the University of Ghana Business School, where I was on a leave of absence. So it's not like, I hear you've left GCTU, I hear you, no. I didn't leave. My term ended to the glory of God. And just so that there's a public announcement, I'm eternally grateful to the Council of the University. I'm grateful to the Vice Chancellor for his excellent leadership. But my term is over. So I've gone back to the University of Ghana Business School. And on Monday at 11:30, I'll be teaching integrated marketing communications to an MBA class. So you can imagine I'm just buzzing. I can't wait to enter the class again, because when you've been out for 4 years, you miss it. So I'm going back, and I'm praying that when I get back, Ecclesiastes 10:10 will be my portion, because the Bible says that when the axe is blunt, cut it, but when you are sharp. So I'm taking some sharpness on Monday and praying that, that's why I'm even going to speak to my guest today, because he's also a sharp person. So you add some sharpness to me, and then we can go and Edwin, you are welcome.
Thank you very much,
good
Prof.
to have you, sir.
Good to be here.
Today our guest is Edwin Amoako. He's a former marketing practitioner, marketing man of the year. He's a famed marketing practitioner. So we'll get straight into it. Edwin, please tell us about yourself, where you were born, where you went to school, and why you love building brands.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yes,
Once again, thanks for all the accolades. We give all the glory to God once again. Prof, fun fact, I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Oh, wow.
At some part in my life.
Oh, wow.
I actually went to Infantswim School.
Indeed.
After St. Martin de Porres. I know Infantswim is a very passionate topic between yourself and I.
Yeah. So but my father was in Saba Pico.
Oh, great.
He's
great.
1962 year group.
Wow.
So when he died, we put the Infantswim cloth around his coffin, and then we sent him home.
Yes.
So Infantswim is an excellent school.
Exactly.
Okay.
So after Infantswim, where I studied science, I actually, in between Infantswim and tertiary, I started working.
Okay.
So my first cut at commercial job was to work with a company called Parry & Co. We're the sole brokers of Starkey's
the tuna people.
Exactly.
I know them, Mr. Chubesi.
Mr. Chubesi,
I know
yes,
him.
yes, great man.
He came to our school to do a PhD in entrepreneurship. I think he may be finishing or has finished.
Great man.
Great guy.
Man.
Yes.
So I had the first opportunity to work there right out of school. I think that's in 2001. Started working with Starkey's brand, and then I had a eureka moment, understanding that I actually didn't want to do medicine, but I had a passion for people.
Yes.
Bringing solutions and impact.
Correct.
So after doing, I think, about 6 or 8 years with Parry & Co., where I started as a warehouse officer and rose through the ranks, I became the media and events manager before I left. Then I transitioned into Nestle Central and West Africa, where I was a brand manager for the dairy category. The dairy category is about the third biggest category for the
It's Nido in the dairy?
Yes, Nido, Ideal Milk, Golden Morn, Gloria Milk, Carnation, all of those ones are within the dairy category.
So do you know James?
James was a colleague of mine.
Really?
Yes.
He's now commercial director at Diageo.
Exactly.
I saw him yesterday.
We are very good friends.
He used to give me Nido. Yes. When I was eating a lot of carbohydrate, but I've repented. But you go on.
So yes, in Nestle Central and West Africa, I also had the opportunity to work as a brand manager for Ghana, Nigeria. And then I transitioned into a new role that was formed called Innovation and Renovation Manager.
Correct.
The role of an Innovation and Renovation Manager was to be the person between research and development and the brand managers in the various countries, where you would take insights that is gathered, convert it into a product, and launch it in those countries.
Oh, wow.
So it was a very pivotal place for me to understand better how ideas moved to products and manage the projects and let them become marketable or tangible products in the countries that they were launched.
Wow.
So after doing food, by then I'd done food about food and FMCG, as we call it, for about 10 plus years. I was very curious. So I got an opportunity to work for telecoms. So I moved into Surfline, where I was the head of...
Renee?
In Surfline.
Did Renee do Surfline? I think so, but you go on.
Yeah, in Surfline, those were very interesting times for the telecoms industry in Ghana because Surfline and a few other local players had gotten the license to launch the first 4G LTE technology.
Correct.
Outside of the typical MNOs,
Correct.
where MTNs and the Teltigos, etc. So you needed to really come to the table strong.
Absolutely.
Because you were going to try and steal market share from people like MTN, etc.
Absolutely. Who were strong.
Yes. And so it was a very, very interesting time for us, as a marketeer, having the opportunity to start a brand from scratch, brand colors, brand book, and execute it and get people to purchase a product. Gotten to the extent where people were holding MiFis as part of their mobile phones and putting it on tables, and it became something
like
exactly. It was an very interesting times for us. So I did Surfline Telecoms. Very interesting place, because once again, whenever I do the comparison between FMCG and telecoms, I say FMCG, you always have these shackles of what you have to say. Because when you are doing the marketing communications, you need to go through FDA.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to telecoms, you really have a kind of leeway and free space. So you can be very creative.
Very much.
So it was very, very interesting for us, from launching WOW, the WOW campaign, etc. So after doing Surfline for, I think, about 3-4 years, I moved on from Surfline back again into Nestle Coastal Cluster.
Okay.
This time around, I was responsible for the dairy category for marketing and category for Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ghana.
Dairy again?
Yes.
You're a dairy man?
Yes. And I'll even add more to that for you, because after doing dairy for so long, I've been selling both evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, powdered milk, flavored milk. And guess what? After I did Nestle, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, I got approached by Fun Milk, which sold frozen dairy. So now I don't think anybody has done dairy more than I've done.
You have to put dairy in your house. Here lives the dairy man.
So I had the opportunity to join Fun Milk, a very iconic brand that we've all grown up on. You know, I have very fond memories, and I time in Fun Milk. And actually, for any brand manager or marketing person, one of the most difficult things that you have to manage is to touch legacy brands.
Remember the famous Fun Nice, so nice,
yes,
nice.
Exactly. Brands that you grew up on, and now you need to make it better.
That's
so
true.
you are very careful.
Yes.
So we did have a lot of fun with Fun Milk. We launched. That's when you saw a lot of changes in terms of our communication. We introduced different products of Fun Yogo, various. We called it a flavor animation.
The flavors,
We introduced
there was some lime one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
We introduced the Super Yogo that was actually launched in the cracks of COVID.
Wow.
To address the micronutrient deficiency that was happening within that period. And then we won a couple of awards, and by God's grace, like you said, I had the opportunity to be the marketing practitioner of the year during that period. Absolutely. So after doing Fun Milk, after moving from being a marketing director and to become commercial director for a period, I then moved into a territory that was totally outside of FMCG. And that was the sanitation and environment space in the Zoom Lion Private Services Limited.
Indeed.
So I also got there. I did about a couple of years, almost 3 years with Zoom Lion, and now I have transitioned into consultancy, which I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Still in marketing and building brands and strategy for other companies.
Okay, so given this illustrious track record, the question I have to ask you is, what's one of the proudest marketing campaigns you remember fondly? But by the way, so marketing campaigns can have different types of impacts. I mean, it could be reach, it could be volume, it could be value. So I'm going to give you the space to define why you consider it memorable and the impact you had.
Thank you very much. And like you said, the campaigns are a lot. One of the proudest moments for me, anytime I walk into any supermarket, is to see that products that I touched are still on the shelves.
Indeed.
And some of the last labels that you did, and you understand why they are there, and it's very interesting. I think the most, let's call it, the one that really stretched us, and I had most satisfaction in, had to do with what we call the So Cool, So Good campaign when I worked for Danone Fun Milk.
Okay.
The So Cool, So Good campaign was all about trying to transition Fun Yogo, that was a product that was intrinsically cold in terms of temperature, because it was sold at minus 18 degrees.
Indeed.
But to make it a cool brand, where the youth could associate with it, and it was exciting, and also intersperse it with what we call flavor animations.
Indeed.
So now we're introducing new types of Fun Yogo, but we're also making Fun Yogo hip. cool.
Indeed.
And that's where we brought in Kwesi Arthur, we brought in Sister Derby at a certain point in time. We made the fun Yogo vest. That was just something that the hawkers on the street used to wear, a fashionable icon. People were wearing it and going out because they saw their musicians wearing it. And then we introduced the whole 360-degree communication to it that touched both, it was natively digital, but also extended to even the vendor on the streets. That was when you saw street vendors who had behind them CEO, Chief Enjoyment Officers.
Absolutely.
And it was so engaging. And during that time, we also had to do a price increase. And it was very difficult to do a price increase. We launched, we introduced our price increase on social media, and that particular post had the whole Ghana talking, because we went back and spoke about some of the things that has happened since we last took a price increase. So we had a statement like, the last time we took a price increase, Shatawale was still bandana. Manchester had not won the league. And people really caught on to it. So I think in all the campaigns that I had done, that one was memorable. It engaged us, and the impact was great, because not only did we have value in terms of brand equity, but also in terms of sales and impact,
So you won on different fronts?
Yes.
So I saw the famous King Promise walk into EcoBank last week and being hailed, as a king. And EcoBank taking the plaudit for associating with the winner. It was really cool to see. And then when I walk into a First Bank Nigeria hall, I see SAC on the displays, and I see Kofi Kinata with Enterprise, and I see the famous songstress also with Enterprise, and I see Davido doing Rame Martin, and it looks as if music is big in Africa.
Yes.
And so I want you to give us a take on by the way, so when I did advertising several years ago, we used TikTok on a Bravo to break a campaign for Ashford. So it's not musicians are not new. But why do you think music is so powerful in Africa? And why do we now use musicians as emblems and as what is it? I mean, is it only a social media thing, or are there clear marketing aspects to this trend?
Yes. One of the things that during the pure marketing, when we're doing ideations, came out, and this was a national, it was actually a multinational trend, or let's call it a school of thought that was proposed, was that we had moved away from your typical socioeconomic classification for the consumers, and we've moved into what we call tribes.
Tribes, yes.
And when you started looking at tribes, it was more of patterns and interests that the people within those areas were ticked them.
Yes.
And so we realized that music, dance, and things that it was a culture that was relevant for not just the youth, but it cut across. So delivering your message through somebody who was considered as an icon and through the medium of music was almost always easier.
It was a winner.
And you had an organic way of getting it out there. So we took advantage of it, just shipped it out, and maybe added a little bit of let's call it a little bit of insights in terms of getting them to do things and visit schools and speak to the passion of the consumers.
But what if you start getting P. Diddy troubles? Then what do you do? Because it's a double-edged sword. I mean, if the musician goes off on the wrong edge, it can come and give you a severe backlash for your brand.
True.
So I think you have to manage the relationship well.
You are very right. And so we had a clear distinction, maybe call it how we defined it. It was, a brand influencer versus a brand ambassador.
Indeed.
They were two different things.
Indeed.
You could use the influencer to execute specific objectives.
Indeed.
And not necessarily associate with some of the values of the influencer. Whereas a brand ambassador was a lot more encompassing. So we were very careful in choosing our brand influencers.
It's important.
And to let them know exactly what to do so that the brand could easily dissociate themselves with things that were not in line with their values.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the marketing teams you've led, it's not always been honky-dory. I'm sure there'll be some turbulent times. And marketers can be very passionate. So when they are fighting, they can fight. So, I just need to ask you, what are some of the leadership lessons you can share from leading marketing teams?
A couple, Prof. One of them is that I learned
and
that
managing agencies as well. There's also another special.
A special
I
breed of-
love them. So I come from an agency background.
Yes.
So how do you manage that
Yes.
ecosystem?
People in creatives are always eccentric.
Seriously.
So it's quite a difficult, but it's also very exciting because, like you said, we are passionate. One of the things or three things that I used to do that was, I think, worked for me was that I always try to speak to the king in both the teams and the agencies. You see, whenever you speak to the king comes out. Indeed. And when you also play them like they don't know anything, then they also wait for you to come and say it, Guru, and let us all follow.
Exactly.
And you realize that through synergy, we had crazy ideas that came out from brainstorming sessions, and we're like, why not? And so as a leader, you also give room for some of those crazy ideas to be tested, and then when they pick up, they do pick up. So I always consistently try to speak to the king in them, let them know, everybody, you earn the seat at the table, it means you are relevant. Indeed. So your voice needs to be heard. The other one has to do with what I call head, heart, and hand.
Indeed.
It was very important that I always spoke to their head in terms of what was the capabilities, if there was capabilities lacking, how do you help them to be able to improve it so that they don't overall neutralize or draw down the average of the team. So you invest in them, you train them, expose them so that we can be speaking at the same platitude. That's the head. In terms of the heart, for me, it was very important. There were times that we would work till 1 a.m. and we don't even realize it's late.
1 a.m. I wasn't closing you.
Yeah.
No. 1 a.m. you tried. I used to go from one day to the next. Exactly. And it is what it is. Proposal must go. Yes. Client is on your neck.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes. But some of our leadership ethos don't allow us to do that.
Work-life balance,
exactly.
Human capital.
We realized that we were happy doing it.
Yeah.
And we would order in some confirm and some fried.
Sometimes it was check.
You'll be eating and working.
You have to do that.
It was very interesting. Yeah. So that's when you had passion, their hearts. When you speak to their heart, you call them anytime they get up and want to speak to you.
Yes.
When you are just being a hard taskmaster, they see your call and they say they were not close to the phone.
That's true.
I've seen it happen a lot of times. And then the hand is really the art of execution, getting them to really know what to do and owning their actions. So this was very important to me to have it almost in every team member, that so that we will be able to deliver what we had to deliver. The last one for me was also the fact that success was always shared with the team.
Indeed.
But failure, you need to be able to take it as a leader.
Absolutely.
So yes, we did we do some goofs? Yes. There were times that there was a lot of controversy based on some of the things we did, but then you take it as a leader, explain it to them why we don't do that next time. But all successes go back to the team. It pumps up their vibe, it makes them happy, and we continue going. So I think these are some of the things I learned from leading marketing teams, both creative and the corporate teams, for us to deliver what we've done in the past.
Okay, so we'll have a discussion about science and art. Mm-hmm. We're talking about foundational matters and then things that keep evolving over time. Mm-hmm. Marketing in 2025 is not the same as marketing when I went to first year in 1994. Mm-hmm. But for today's marketer, what top 3 qualities do you need? Even given all that's going on, I feel there are basic things you must still have, and then you must still have a certain contemporary flair. But I'll hear from you.
Yeah.
What are all the top 3 or 4 qualities a good aspiring marketer must have today?
Prof, from my point of view, one thing is very key: the ability for every marketeer, the ability to communicate and connect.
Indeed.
When that is missing, it's very difficult for you to even stand as a marketeer anywhere, because whatever is in your head as a creative, if you cannot translate it for people to see or to hear, to go along with you, it's very difficult. So you need to study the art of communication and connecting. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine that communication is good, but connecting is better. Connecting is when you don't talk, but the person hears what you want to say.
I agree.
And that's a higher level.
So
you need to master it.
You
communication
work on cue.
Yes.
Because you get each other.
You get each other.
It
you are flowing.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. The other part for me also has to do with managing stakeholders.
Okay.
Because the marketing function by itself is a very problematic function in corporate as it is. Because one end, everybody sees you as the one who blows the money.
That's true.
So you
and
need to
asking, what do you bring? What are
you doing? You people are just going out there and blowing the money, especially my finance people. So that's one of the reasons why I studied finance. I studied accounting.
But they are friends. They are friends,
Yes. And one of the things that I thought that worked for me was in managing the stakeholders. It's important that you not only clearly communicate what you want to do, the objective, how you want to do it, but you also carry them along. There were times that I went into market storms with the finance people. Yeah. I gave them forms to go and do the same survey we were doing. Yes. So that when we come back in the room and I'm justifying why it cost this amount for an agency to go and do a survey, you know what it took for you to walk to 100 shops and fill a form and get and analyze the data.
Absolutely.
So it made it very exciting. I think that's one of the things that we need to, as a marketeer, it's one of the things that you need to learn and master. The other part has to do with the other stakeholders in terms of the creative agencies, all the other people you are working with, getting them to sync and vibe with you so that you don't have to keep on pouring water on stone, because it is difficult. The creative process itself is difficult. Now trying to bring it out and get people to run with it, if it becomes more complicated, you are in trouble. So that's one, getting the stakeholders involved. And then the last one for me is the art of execution. I believe that there are so many ways to kill a cat, as we put it. But you need to get efficient in finding the ways that work in killing your cat, so that you don't keep on wasting too much time in execution. And in this modern time of clutter and various things that take the attention of consumers, you need to identify the fine art that you get things done. What needs to get done, how you are going to get it done, and when it's done, what does the picture of success look like? And I think these three things, it's critical
for a contemporary marketer.
Yes.
On that contemporary note, we'll be right back with more of Titans and Trailblazers. Please stay tuned.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. With MNC Properties, property sales, rentals, and management is a walk in the park. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 to 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We offer flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs, plus litigation-free lands in vibrant and upscale communities that presents the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 0302 551 917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers, and we have more with Edwin. Edwin, please, now let's go to challenges. What are some of the most monumental challenges you faced, not just as a marketing professional, but also challenges that confront marketing professionals across the continent?
Yeah, that's a big one, because the challenges, there are a lot, and sometimes on different projects, they hit you differently. But I think for typical marketeers, one of the things that elude us or hit us is budget constraints. and the ability to be efficient and effective. You almost never would have a bottomless pit.
But before we get there, now I'm speaking both as a teacher and a practitioner. Don't we also have fundamental problems with some marketers on building accountability mechanisms? Because the finance guys always say that, Chief, where the ROI there?
Yes.
Can you give me a return on investment paper on this?
Yes.
Where's the business case? Yes. Oh, you are too difficult. No, you can't say they are difficult. They need to understand that if they invest X, they'll get Y.
Yes.
So I think those KPIs, metrics, dashboard, I think it's still an issue till today.
Very, very key. So for me, maybe I jumped too much to the bucket. So if I were to line it up in terms of chronology, I think there's a big task in terms of identifying targets and securing insights that justify expenditure.
Indeed.
Okay. Targeting now in terms of for marketeers sometimes becomes a little bit very vague, and hence we spread ourselves thin, and at the end of it, your ROI, which is requested, becomes diluted.
That's right.
So targeting, it was more difficult in our time and even less now.
I'm telling you.
I think so, because our
things
time we
have
didn't have
improved.
we
All
didn't
these
have
analytics tools. Yes, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Hey.
So targeting.
Our time was a gra movement. Now there are so many tools,
Yes.
and that's why it makes it difficult now to not be able to articulate a business case.
You're right.
Yes, the finance guys are very wild, though,
Yes.
because now budgets are tight. So
Everywhere.
for every $100 they spend, they need to understand what's going to do for them.
You are right. So this targeting thing for me, like you said, in the past, one of the ways that we were getting around it, also being effective in being execution, was because you were not sure that spending your money or your budget largely would get the impact. We're doing a lot of piloting before we scale up. Piloting, modeling, testing in a small market space before we scale up.
Very much.
So that by the time you scale up, at least you have an idea of what will be the exponential impact that you are going to have.
Fair point.
Which I still believe
it's still
we
good.
shouldn't. It's still very important.
Yes,
it's very
absolutely.
important to
Yes.
do. So when you're able to get those targeting things right, the next thing for me was being able to get the insights right.
Indeed.
And I don't know, Prof, you may be able to tell me whether back then it was easier to predict the consumer than now. I read
stuff. Now it's super tough.
Yes, because now the consumer is being hit on 4 multiple screens. When he has the ability to watch paid TV, local TV, his phone, his tablet, and radio at the same time. Yeah. Where are you putting the money for him to hear you?
No, it's tough now.
As soon as you get to the point where there's a break for commercial break, they switch.
Yes.
So it has become very difficult to get the real bang for your buck when it comes to some of these things. But I still believe it's still one of the biggest challenges that we have. Then maybe now I come to the budget and how we can maybe be a little bit more effective and efficient, because now we have the tools. And sometimes we really wonder whether we as marketeers, we know and understand the potential that some of these tools have in narrowing down the efforts we put into being able to get the returns.
Absolutely.
So if you're able to clearly get the bullseye, as we used to call it, in terms of who your core consumer is and what he does.
It's still the same word. It's still bullseye. You have to still get the bullseye.
And understand what we used to call the consumer insight.
Indeed.
What he does from morning to evening, and know where you are going to hit him on his journey.
Absolutely.
Then you would be able to at least get a little bit of return on investment. Do we do that? I think it's some of the challenges that we have. Because right now people say, oh, I've seen he has 20,000 likes. Let's just go and get him to be an influencer. I'm like,
no, it's not as simple as that.
It's not. No. It doesn't work like that.
No. So you must understand the back-end issues, because I think marketers need to step up as well. And we need to go into that C-suite and get the CFOs, CEOs, the human capital people to align with us. We must pivot them all towards the customer. So I think it's a very crucial job we have. But let's come to personal branding. I know you have a fondness for that area. So just share with us your thoughts on why personal branding is a life and death issue.
Prof, as for personal branding, and I think I shared this sentence with you, people will buy you before they buy what you sell.
Absolutely. I agree.
And 1,001 times, if you don't appear the role of what you are, or you don't command some form of trust when you are selling, all the blah blah you say will not achieve anything.
It won't go far.
That's why it's important that you need to invest a little bit or a lot more into yourself, your understanding of whatever you do, so that when you step up, first somebody will buy who you are as a brand before you sell anything. If you're able to brand yourself well, you can be the brand ambassador or be the spokesperson or salesman of anything.
That's true.
And we've seen that happen a number of times. True. So for me, I think that it's about time that people understood how that plays, even in their career path. I'll give you a story, Prof. When I was, I think, somewhere in the early 90s, when they used to still lynch people when they stole at the marketplace. I don't know whether now we've stopped.
With time.
I was working with a friend at one of these stations, and this friend of mine has always been I'll call it a Harlem bugger. Who would always wear these baggy trousers, baggy jeans, earrings, and One day we were at one of the stations and somebody claims he lost his wallet whilst climbing the trotro. I was with him. Fanspin boy, tagged in with my shirt iron and everything. And when the guy turned, the first person he thought he would hold was this guy, just because of how he was appearing.
Wow.
But for the fact that I was there to be able to defend him that, no, this is not true, this is the guy, check his pocket.
Yeah.
He would have been lynched. Why?
Wow.
Because of how he appeared.
Yes, please.
So it's important that we know personal branding or branding in general is not just about appearance and the pictures and the angles, but we are human beings, we always see and we judge and we profile.
That's true.
So it's important that we take that into consideration. I think everybody is a product.
Very
and one of the big questions anybody needs to ask themselves and answer it very critically is that if you were being sold, would you buy you?
That's true. That's an important question.
If you wouldn't buy you, then the question is you need to be careful and know what are the things that you have to do. I did a whole session that spoke about how we position ourselves as a product, from targeting, packaging, the product itself, promotions, and then the last one was what I call shelf life, which is important. I think if anybody has the opportunity, you can check my YouTube channel, Consult with EA, and I went through all of this because you need to target right. Correct. You need to understand which product you are and who you are selling yourself to, so that you know how to position yourself. Yes, and you need to promote yourself sometimes. Promote yourself for the right reason. There are times that you go on social media and people are putting themselves out there, and they've forgotten that tomorrow they are going to go and look for a job. And nowadays, I don't have time to go through your CV. The first thing I do is to go to your Facebook page and check what have you been doing for the past 2 weeks.
That's true.
And if you have been showing me a lot of things that don't sync with what I'm taking you into, I already profile you before you come and sit in front of me for me to look at your credentials.
You might not even get into that sitting. There's no sitting for you. People are now losing opportunities because their digital footprint is weak or inappropriate. And they're not aware.
Exactly.
They are just shortchanging themselves, moving up and down. Very true. And the glory is not coming. And they don't understand what's going on.
So this is where my passion is when it comes to personal branding. And I think it's something that we need to take more seriously going forward if our careers are going to scale up the way we want.
So what about marketing for government, marketing for public sector? Sometimes there's a myth that, this is your marketing team. I remember there was an old professor in Legon. Well, not old, but this person was my senior. Anytime I talk about maybe converting food products into marketable stuff, I talk about marketing universities. The retorting guys, Bob, well, no fear, no marketing. Well, no fear, no marketing. And it's not Bob who say no fear, no marketing.
No fear, no marketing.
Look at Harvard. Today, Trump says, you bring international students, please. He is freezing $2.2 billion in funding. This same Harvard, from, I think, 93 to 98 from I forget, it was a 5-year period. Harvard ran a 5-year campaign to raise $6.5 billion. When they were done, they had raised $9.8 billion. I mean, that's the strength of the Harvard brand in terms of pushing for resources from alumni the world over. I was in the US in 2015. It was 2013 to 2018. When a guy called Paulson gave Harvard $400 million US. It was the single largest endowment in the history of American colleges. Wow. So please, how does marketing matter for public sector, for not-for-profit, for government? Is it important or not?
I totally believe that it is pivotal. It shouldn't be downplayed at all because the whole marketing gamut cuts across from product, advertising, PR. It all sits corporate image. It all sits within a certain big wavelength that we loosely call marketing. And without these things, strategy, implementation, and execution, be it a government, NGO, becomes very difficult. How are you going to get whatever offering that you have out there? Who are you going to give it to? Why should a person choose you versus the other person?
How are you to be following those government practices that make losses every day? And the president is asking, but you are selling alcohol, how can you be making losses? Even our father is wondering, what's going on here?
It's a big
you are
problem.
selling akpeteshi and things, and you are still
People
making
drink when
losses.
they are happy. People drink when they are sad. People drink when they are not doing
We
anything.
drink all the time. But that question you asked was very profound to the extent I was wondering that if you have a product that's consumed often, why are you still making losses?
Very valid question.
This lack of a marketing mindset. I think all these parasiters who are struggling, if you can get proper marketing systems and structures in place, underpinned by proper customer journeys, get the customer experience in, I think they should be fine.
And governance structure. I think the governance structure of some of these organizations need to rethink the role of a marketing person at the very top. And not only just put him there.
Can you imagine they all appoint CMOs? Something will change.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes, not just appoint them, but empower them too.
Indeed.
Because sometimes, yes, the roles are there, but they are toothless as what
That's true. That's true.
Bukombanku will say, toothless bulldog. They cannot do anything. So we need to put them there, empower them, and also give them the KPIs that is required and tracked. So that they will at least deliver what they have to. And if you empower them and they are not delivering what they have, let's also have the ability to take them out and replace them with professionals. I've heard one big owner of a big organization say once, communication team, what are they sitting there doing? They should go and sit on radio and talk. No strategy, no nothing, just be on radio, talk, because they think that marketing is all about having people talking. No, but there's a whole art and a science behind it. So I believe that not only is it essential, they should get a seat at the table, they should be given the resources that is required, and then they should be tracked based on the key performance indicators that are required. And then if it doesn't work, we relook at it, because we cannot not have them at the table.
Okay. So as we think about tourism, because today my monologue was on tourism, I need to find out from you what you think the role of marketing and customer experience is in building the tourism fortunes of African countries.
This is a big one, Prof. And I heard you when you were speaking about all that is needed. I think we need to rethink the storytelling of Africa or the African countries. One key point of brand.
When you say rethink, is there even a storytelling plan? My show, you don't have to be nice. You have to just speak the truth. My listeners will be happy. My audience will be happy.
I take it back.
What is retelling?
The brand.
We have to fashion a storytelling approach.
Yes.
For country brands.
Yes, because the need first is that identify that there's a need for it, and then the potential returns. I think I was at a talk for creative. It was a creative mix organized by Black Volta a few weeks ago, and I was telling them that the benefits of tourism and the creative industry can be second to some of the biggest gold and cocoa.
I'm telling you.
It can even go beyond it.
Boss.
Only if we will focus.
It's billions of dollars.
Exactly. Only if we will focus.
If we knew what we were doing.
Exactly. So I feel that it's a very crucial topic. The hub or the creatives need to be up and doing. However, we need to quickly be able to one, rethink or maybe introduce the whole storytelling and brand approach for countries. We need to put together the infrastructure that is needed, because you tell the story, people will come. What we call first moment of truth. They come and they get a negative experience, and then it's better off they didn't come. Okay, and then we need to also be able to hone in on what is needed to grant them the experience, deliver on the experience that they need when they come. And I think these are just a few things. First, let's identify the story and tell it well. Let's put in the infrastructure that when they come, they would really get the experience of what we told them. And then let's find a way of honing it in, doing the various things that will be able to get them repeat purchase, as we call it. To move them from awareness to purchasing, then to repeat purchase.
So, can tech also play a role with augmented reality, virtual reality? You can do virtual tours, because I find that we could have a lot more tech. And you know, some of the tech, it's even old tech for the developed world. I mean,
it's gone beyond
virtual reality is not even it's been there for like decades. But take your hospitality and tourism players today and sort of check which of them even have. Sometimes even the phone number on that Facebook, when you call it, won't go. It's like
nobody will pick.
Wow.
It won't go. So you are very right. I think one of the things that we have in Ghana, we have not done well, is that I always tell my friends we don't even have to reinvent the wheel. There are too many things that have been done already. All we need is to be able to have the ability to copy, paste, reward and punish.
That's right.
Copy, paste, reward and punish. Because augmented tech is there. What do you need? We don't need to rethink it. And you can use it as the first point of really selling after
That
telling
is
them the
it.
story.
That is
Auditory,
it.
visual. Now they experience it. When they come, you let them experience the reality of it. And then afterwards, you can make a lot of money into it. Look at what all these Qatar and all the other places are doing. South Africa, you mentioned South Africa.
Yep.
Everybody picks up their passport and they want to go to South Africa.
Now it's visa free too. I hear the Ghanaians going that it has exploded because the thing is now open.
Yeah.
So please, as we begin to wrap, I want you to give me 3 critical pieces of advice for African youth. What should they do to have a better future, apart from the personal branding thing you spoke about?
Yeah.
Should they stop stealing, or stealing is not part of it? Please, I take it back. Nobody is stealing.
I think that maybe it's because we are in it, we don't really see the progress happen. There has been some progress. And anytime I go outside of Ghana and I visit some of the West African countries, I understand why we are always considered as doing well. But when you compare yourself to the wrong standards,
yes,
you always think you are the fastest person.
Yes, please.
We need to dial it up. I think that the African youth should be looking more towards solving problems.
Indeed.
As a business.
Indeed.
Okay, it's too much talking and complaining. Can we identify problems and solve them? And can we get our leadership to be able to help and motivate people who are solving problems to even expand? That's one thing. The other thing is that I think we also need to move away from the entitlement mentality.
I agree.
Youth coming up. Anytime I speak to people who are just getting out of the university, etc., Uncle Bob, when we got out of university, we were working for free.
Absolutely.
We wanted to learn. We were hungry.
I know.
Nowadays, they come and there's a bill. They expect that
You see,
AI has told, ChatGPT has told them that an average graphic designer should earn X amount. So you've not even designed one label, and this is what you want.
the spirit of apprenticeship has disappeared. Everybody wants, how much will you pay? You should be paying me. I'm the one feeding you and speaking into your life. You should be paying me.
Granting you the opportunity to learn. The other one for me is what I call the 3 C's. I say it's chances, choices, and changes. Okay, we will all get the opportunity to have some chances, and we will need to make a choice within those chances, or else our life will never change. When you are 25 or you are between 20 and 25, there's so much time for you to make some errors. You will be able to bounce back. But when you are after that period, it becomes more difficult for you to be able to bounce back when you make them. So those getting out of school, about to get into things, I think they should be able to take some of these chances and choices and make it work for them. The last for me, it's what I call strategic relationship, only quality people. You need to find a way to build a network of quality people. Your network is your net worth. You need to ensure that the people within your network are helping you to achieve what you want to achieve as a young graduate or entrepreneur when you start. And we need to take mentorship very, very, very seriously, because one day with a good mentor can catapult you or steroid inject you 10 years ahead.
I know.
What he spent 10 years to learn that thing that he
but
just
you
told
need
you.
humility to build those mentoring relationships.
Yes, the mentor-mentee relationship. And one thing that I've learned after dealing with, I have a couple of mentees under me, is that we make the mistake of thinking that mentors are supposed to be your moral compass. I'm sorry.
No.
There is something specifically a mentor is supposed to help you do, and just focus on him helping you to do that. Yeah. He may be the drunk, but he's the master at Excel. Yeah. So go and learn your Excel and leave that part to him where he is, so that you will be able to get what you need to catapult you to where you want to be. Prof, last one. One thing that I've come to realize is that if we the Trailblazers, the Titans, don't help to improve the critical mass of the people, our children are going to suffer.
On that note of potential suffering, I want to tell you that there's hope yet. So as Titans and Trailblazers, it's our job to help to build the next generation of African behemoths. We can do it together. So stay tuned, and thank you, Edwin, for coming.
Thank you.
God bless you and keep you safe.
Thank you.
My regards to the Archbishop Charles Ajinasai. Tell him we honor him and bless him.
He will hear
Thank you, and see you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Strongly, very
if you look
strongly.
at industry,
Yes.
a lot of people within the sales and marketing
You don't have any professional qualifications?
no professional
at all.
Some of them don't even have any form of education.
My brother, what they use is Takashi. Remember the pigeon word Takashi?
Takashi, yes. And sometimes, he can talk. But But the pride is this. And that's why I love sales.
Okay.
We make the money flow.
I agree. Oh, I totally agree with you.
We basically are the ones that provide solutions.
I agree with you.
So sometimes people think that sales is about, convincing somebody to buy. No. For me, sales is about how I'm making my client's life better.
That's right.
Titans and Trailblazers is brought to you by the MNC Group.